Hello everybody and welcome back to Lyle's Friday podcast at C&S Corvettes in Sarasota, Florida. You know, I've been looking at Corvette prices and I'll bet you have too, and you're probably seeing that the prices for nice cars, C5s, C6s, C7s, have gone insane. A lot of that has to do with the fact that there aren't a whole lot of new cars available of any kind right now, and the prices for everything are going up. So, what you are finding still available at relatively reasonable pricing are cars that maybe have a lot of miles on them. Maybe the paint's a little bit tired. Maybe the interior looks like somebody had a knife fight in it. But the cars are still mechanically sound. So it's not a car you're going to take to a car show or a car that you're going to show off to your neighbors as, hey, look at this beautiful piece of American motoring history. However, what can you do with those cars? I'll tell you exactly what you can do with those cars. You find yourself a mechanically sound car that isn't real pretty, but has been well maintained, and you can buy it for short money. You turn that into a track day car or an autocross car. There are very few cars on the road that you can buy for under $8,000, $10,000 that can do those things well without a lot of modification. And of course, our favorite car, the Corvette, is one of, if not the premier version of that particular car. I see a whole lot of C5s with 120, 130, 140,000 miles. Rubber's kind of, the tires are shot, the paint's the interior's but the car's been maintained mechanically well enough to where it goes riggedy vroom and it goes down the road with no problems. You can buy that car for $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. A C4 in the same condition you can buy for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. If you want to go around a track, like we have Sebring right here that I'm always talking about because we're there 3 times a year, 4 times a year, you can have a lot of fun. But there are 3 things you have to do to a track car to make it usable. Not make it pretty, not make it, ooh, look at that, but make it to where you can use it at the track. Number 1, you have to replace all the fluids in the car. First and foremost, every fluid gets replaced, period, end of story. Hoses and belts get replaced immediately, end of story. You're obviously going to do fresh brakes. You're going to do all these little mechanical things to bring the car up to the best it can be mechanically without investing a ton of money and time. When you do brakes, do the best brake rotors and pads that you can possibly afford. Do a set of Hawk pads with a good quality set of rotors. You're going to put a really new set of tires on. Notice how I didn't say expensive tires. You can, for a track day or for autocross, buy a set of Kumos, buy a set of Sumitomos, buy a set of Falcons. My son and I just did 14 hours at Daytona 2 weekends ago on a set of Falcon Azenas. One set for 14 hours of racing. It did great, and I'm still going to use those tires this weekend at Sebring. Get that settled. Now, a lot of the clubs and a lot of the autocrossers don't require you to have any kind of roll cage. They don't require you to have any of the fire suppression systems. What they do require is that you have a helmet. This is step 2, by the way. They do require you have a helmet dated like 2015 or newer. Some of them require even a newer helmet than that, but most of them, especially for the hobbyist, 2015 is more than enough. You can find those helmets on Amazon for about $250. Most of them aren't going to require that you have harnesses, just regular seat belts for a track day. If it is something that requires harnesses, you're going to have to purchase a hard bar that bolts in directly behind the seats, and a set of harnesses that's going to run $500 or $600, but that's also for much more serious track day education than just going out there for a weekend and having fun. Like the Porsche BMW Owners Club here in Florida puts on track days every month at Sebring International Raceway. As long as you show up with a tech sheet showing that a mechanic has gone through and made sure your car is safe and that you've got your helmet, you're good to go for the whole weekend, and you'll be doing 150 down the back straight heading into turn 17. So, thus far, number 1, do all the basic mechanicals. Ooh, don't forget shocks in there. Shocks are important. They don't have to be expensive, but make sure they're new. So, do the basic mechanicals. Make sure you got a good helmet. Make sure your seat belts work. Thirdly, make sure you go with somebody whatever organization is nearby that's going to provide you with an instructor to get you out there to teach you how to use the car, and who has been in enough cars that if something starts feeling weird midway through a 30-minute stint, they can go, you know what, pull into the pins. That doesn't feel right. Let's take a look at this, so that you don't have a catastrophic problem in the middle of the track. These cars, guys, you can have so much fun with, and once you've done the initial of money to buy the car and make it mechanically whole, you can go out and run and run and run and run and have so much fun and learn so much, not only about the car, but about yourself. If you have ideas, if you've done this yourself, please let me know. Write to me on email, respond to the comments down here right after you subscribe. And I'd really love to hear about your stories of taking a Resurrecting Corvette and making it a track toy. I'd like to see pictures of that, which I could feature on a future video of some of your stuff that you've done that with, because I'd really like to see some of these cars that would otherwise, because they're not necessarily pretty, head to the crusher or to the salvage yard, be resurrected and still go out and be able to have some glory and some fun in their lives and bring joy to people who don't necessarily have $80,000 to spend on a new Z06. Lyle at CorvettePartsCenter.com is where you find me, or of course I always pay attention to all the comments. I look forward to hearing with you, and make sure you go out and have some fun with your car this weekend. The weather's getting nice, at least down here in Florida. I'd like to see you out driving with a smile on your face. Have a great weekend, everybody.